welcome to Andrew's Angling. Today you join me on the River Monnow in the middle of Monmouth, chub fishing. Let's see how I got on.
Let's try a worm at first. So I'm going to use two nice big worms, hopefully attract the chub. So you notice the river is quite up. In fact, the river normally starts just past that tree line. So I'm looking for slacker water. So on inspection I see it's not too bad there. So the little inlet here worms wash in. So I've done quite well here in the past with worms. Unfortunately worms didn't work, so let's try some pellets. So there's some garlic and cheese flavoured pellets here, and I'll use cheese paste on the hook. Something nice and smelly, hopefully attract the chub. Of course in coloured water they're hunting by smell, much more than they are by sight. So usually if there's any chub about, you'll get bites fairly quickly, certainly within 5 to 10 minutes as a rule. But nothing was happening in this first swim, so time for a bite myself. Well, nothing happened there at all. Best thing to do is move on. Don't slog it out, try another spot. If you find the fish, you get them fairly quickly as a rule. So the second swim I've chosen near the bridge. Very good spot. I've seen a lot of chub hanging around here in the past. So a classic spot, just underneath that willow. So again, the river normally starts about there. But now we have this nice overhanging branches there. Classic chub spot. There we go, spot on. So we're trying cheese paste. Again, something nice and smelly for the fish to find. And hopefully something will happen fairly quickly. Fingers crossed. So I'm just tightening the line a little bit so we get a nice little bit of a bend in the quiver. Hopefully improve bite indication. It is a beautiful spot there. Now it's just a waiting game. We started getting bites. Very subtle at first, chub are picking the bait up, mouthing it, checking if it really is food. And then bang. Want to be a little bit careful here. Actually, it's not a very big fish, but we've got the trees there that are in the water, and there's plenty of vegetation at my feet. So normally I would get a bit low while trying to land the fish and bring them in, but here I want to keep the rod up a little bit to try and keep its head off the bottom, out of the way of those bushes. So even if it's not a big fish, I don't want to rush too much. I want to keep it in control. Try and steer it away from any of those snags. I think that's nearly ready. It's near the surface. Just want to keep its head up out of the way of those bushes. They're close in. There we go. Again, not a very big fish, but certainly welcome in these difficult conditions. I think that's about 2 pounds or so. Straight back, not a problem. So we kept getting bites in this spot. Again, the chub mouthing the bait, just picking it up, seeing if it really is food. You're getting little taps on the rod, but I'm not striking at those. I'm just waiting for the rod to pull around. And I found, feeding a little bit of pellets, only a handful or two, just got the fish's interest a bit more. I was getting bites moments after feeding. Don't want to feed too much, just a little bit to get them interested. We were getting a few bites in this spot, but nothing really was happening. They were just mouthing the bait far too much. So how do I hook cheese paste? Well, the way I found works really well is to, first of all, put a pellet using a band, and then mold the cheese paste around the pellet. I find this stays on much better than trying to mold the cheese paste around the hook itself. Simply the pellet gives it something to grip around. The hook can just pull through the cheese paste too easily. So just mold it in your fingers to soften it slightly. The heat of your fingers and the action will just soften it. Then you can wrap it around. Just squeeze it tightly, just make sure it stays on nice. And of course with the pellet, even if the small fish were to peck away at the paste, the pellet's going to stay on, so you'll know you're fishing with something. So it's a nice big piece of cheese paste. Something nice and stinky for the fish to find. Just make sure that it's on properly. So again, I'm going to put it in exactly the same spot as before, just under that overhanging willow. So normally that is only just about hanging in the water, but here it's well over. It does look such a classic chub spot with the overhanging willows. Chub do like a little bit of cover. So we're getting bites again. Very soft, and then over it goes. Something's picked that up. Unfortunately, there's nothing on the end. Again, the way chub mouth the bait, that often happens. They'll just not properly swallow it. Your bites can be annoying. You just gotta sit on your hands and wait sometimes. Wait for that rod to go right over. And even then, it doesn't always work. So after a few more bites, this thing slowed down, so let's move again. There's no point in sort of sitting it out. If the bites dry up, try another spot. So this is another spot that I've done quite well in the past. So again, the river normally starts just beyond those trees. So we used cheese paste as before. It worked. So again, I'm not casting too far. I'm looking for slightly steadier water. I'm not looking to cast into the rapids right in the middle. The fish are unlikely to hang around there in these sort of conditions. Barbel maybe, the chub no. They're looking for slacker water or where the fast water meets the slower water, the so-called crease. It didn't take long in this spot to get bites. Again, something's mouthing the bait. Don't want to rush. Give it a chance. It's just picking it up. It's seeing if it really is food, whether it wants to eat it. Just got to sit on your hands sometimes and just wait for that rod to bang around. I found there's little point at striking at the little taps. You're just going to pull the bait out of the fish's mouth. Some of the bites can be just so subtle. If you're not watching the rod tip, you'd easily miss them. So just waiting now for that rod to reach around. if it does. Here we go. And we're on. Same as the last fish in the last swim. I want to be a little bit careful because there's a bit of bushes close in. In more normal conditions, I'm stood down there. Again, it doesn't feel a very big fish, but I think it's better than the one before. Putting up a bit of a scrap now. There, it's close in. Again, I'll try to keep it up, get his head up, because I know there's a lot of bushes just down there. The last thing I want is for it to put its head right in that weed. I think it's almost ready. There we go. That is a better fish than the last one. Again, not a monster. But a beautiful looking fish. I'm happy with that given the conditions.
Right, I think that's going to have to be it. We've had a good day. We've had 2 fish out and we've had a dozen bites or more. Just failed to connect to them. It happens with chub fishing, the way they mouth the bait and play with it. But given the conditions, as you can see, the water's well up, very murky. I'm happy with what we've done, but I know we can do better. We can get bigger fish next time.